Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to talk about the boomers. And why not, right? We've all been dealing with boomers our entire lives. But before I get into it, I'd just like to say that I'm not talking about every single, baby boomer. There are a lot of good, solid folks out there who happen to be born in that generation. And if that's you, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about all the lunatics. But I really got thinking about it after one of my live streams last week. And it was something that I had run across. The average age of the people who are out there protesting at Tesla dealerships and shit is 64. Okay. So if you take into account all of the college students out there doing that stuff, then you got to realize that age of the college students in their early 20s would drag that median age down. It should be in the median age should be in the 40s or something, but it's 64. That means there are a whole lot of boomers out there doing that shit, and I mean a lot, to counterbalance all the stupid college kids doing that shit. And I see these videos of boomer age people vandalizing Teslas and all this shit. And you're just sitting there like watching this shit. Some old gray-haired man smashing his briefcase into a Tesla. And you're just like, what the hell is going on? What are they thinking? So that's where it started. My mind started. And as a lot of you know already, I work in a physical job. So I don't, I'll do repetitive stuff over and over again. So I have a lot of time to think. And I've been thinking about that over the last week. And it made me wonder about the younger generations. Now, our generation, on our live streams and stuff and in the comments, we talk about our grandparents a lot because, our grandparents were just good folks and they taught us a lot and, had us out in the garage, whether grandpa was woodworking or working on the lawnmower or doing whatever gardening and this different stuff. And they taught us, they taught us facts of life and and they would give us talks and teach us just, stuff about life and how to do stuff and give us words of wisdom. Okay. Our grandparents did that for us. And a lot of us look back on those days with fondness. So my point is that these younger generations, their grandparents are out there with purple hair and shit, firebombing Teslas. Okay. They're out there, promoting all these weird ideologies and all this shit, right? Out there, look at, and I'm not, this isn't a right or left thing, just an age thing. Look at Biden with those two trans people that were in his cabinet, promoting that stuff. This is what the older people are doing now. They're promoting this weird, I don't know what you want to call it, the whole woke thing, that kind of thing. They're all of them on TV and all of them in any kind of presence, and even the just normal individuals are out there firebombing Teslas and shit. So it's not just the people on TV, the celebrities and shit, and the politicians. It's the average normal 70-year-old. So they're out there doing this whack shit too. And these are the grandparents that the younger generation have to look up to. This is what they're being, what they're being raised by, grandparent wise anyway. This is who they get to turn to and for some words of wisdom. The wise old people that are supposed to be teaching them wisdom and facts of life, they're teaching them gender ideology and all this other bullshit, right? All this weird shit. Teaching them to hate anybody who questions the government and tries to find waste or fraudulence in the government spending. That's what these kids are hearing their grandparents rage about Elon Musk because he dares look into that kind of thing. So there's something there that and it's been for a long time. It's just now, seeped into my awareness. But because these people have been this way for a long time, and they've had grandchildren for a long time, so these kids have grown up with this type of grandparent, and this type of wisdom being imparted onto them. This type of, and I don't know, that's got to really be a divergent, branch off the mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Because for all of human history, we've had the whole, the grandparents were wise and old, sitting on the porch, and and they taught the kids, and they'd sit the kids down. And back in the old days, they would tell stories and just impart wisdom to the children. Now these older people are just, filling these kids' heads with this crazy bullshit. So that's got to be a major factor in why these kids are the way they are. It has to be, in my mind. There's no getting around it. And whether they think they're doing the right thing, but they're spreading this, I don't know what you want to call it, other than a mind virus. You know what I mean? This weird ideology about all this, anything that's left or woke or whatever you want to call it. Okay, and because my grandparents were Democrats. I mean, hard-boiled, true-blood Democrats, and and this new thing, this left Democrat thing, is completely against everything that they believed, every single thing. So the older generation, this boomer generation, has completely flipped. Okay, it completely twisted everything that was common sense and just good, down to earth, solid, has now been just stripped away. And it's now just complete lunacy, backwards, incompatible with humanity in a lot of ways. It's just weird and strange. And I hate to see these kids growing up with grandparents like this. And I can't stress it enough to say not all boomer grandparents. I'm not talking about all boomers with grandparents. I'm talking about these weirdos that I see. Okay? There's plenty of good boomers out there who are trying to raise their grandkids correctly, and they hear me talking like this and think I'm talking about them. I'm not talking about you. I'm not pointing a finger at anybody specifically. But I see this shit, and you can't help but see this shit. It's on TV a lot. All these old people, a portion of them, I don't know. Maybe it's a silent or a vocal minority. Maybe it's a very small minority of boomers. I don't know. I haven't taken a head count. I don't know. But they are prominent. They are visible. So that leads me to believe that there's more than just a few of them that are promoting this shit, when they should be on the complete other side, right? They should be, and that's where I think that the tables have turned with all this progressive liberal shit. That's where I think the tables have turned, because all the older boomers, well, I can't say all, a lot of older boomers are going that way. With that weird shit, right? Where back in my childhood, all the older people were conservative Democrats. Most of them anyway. They came through the Depression and stuff, and it's just the way that most of the older people were. Nowadays, they're this wild-eyed, purple-haired, progressive, all for illegal immigration, all for relax on crime, all for just everything that normal people find despicable. If you're a normal, average person, just a working person, and you detest it, that's what they're for. They love it. They want it. They want to just tear everything down, give up all our freedom, give up all our autonomy, let the government track every single thing we do, give the government complete control over our lives, trust the science. The list goes on. You know what I'm talking about. That's where they're at. And we have these terms that we use for that shit: woke, left, progressive, whatever you want to call that line of sheep, that whole line of thought, that whole, I don't know, that mind pattern where you just completely blank to anything that makes sense, and you're just a complete robot when it comes to taking orders and believing what the mainstream media and the government tell you. That whatever you want to call that. That's what I'm talking about. Just an organic meat android. They just do what they're told, and they believe what they're told, and that's it. Don't think for themselves. Don't ask questions. Just mainstream hook, line, and sinker. And that was not how old people were when I was a kid. Old people questioned that shit. They didn't trust the government. That's where I think that Gen X got a lot of our distrust of government from, was from our grandparents, from the silent generation and the greatest generation. That's where we got that from, a lot of that. But these younger kids, their grandparents are just, telling them, get the boosters, and do everything and give up your freedoms. We don't need the First Amendment. The censorship is king. We don't need the First Amendment or the Second Amendment either. Nobody needs that stuff for hunting anymore. We can just buy food in the store and all this stuff. That's the kind of stuff that old people are saying now. And I just don't understand it, not one bit. So I think that the grandparents, the influence that grandparents have on young children is often overlooked, because my grandparents had a lot of influence on my mind growing up. They influenced what I thought was true, and what I felt was good and bad, and stuff like that. Like the government, the distrust of the government. I got that from my grandparents, and that has stuck with me for my entire life. I've never gotten rid of that. So there's an argument to be made that all this shit coming down and being adopted by these younger people are being fed to them by their grandparents, right? And hopefully us Gen Xers and as grandparents can do a better job. We can hope, So that's where I'm at. We can be better grandparents than the boomers. That's one good thing we got going for us. The boomers have set the bar low. I mean low. So we can do better than they did. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, I'll put that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I'll put that link down in the description too. If you're interested in Gen X gear, we got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble. Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff, t-shirts, coffee mugs, hoodies, all kinds of cool stuff like that. But I'll put that link down in the description as well for any of you who are interested. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a hell of a lot, so thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate it. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.